They say the hardest person to fall out of love with is the one who never knew you loved them at all. My name is Oscar. I was 19, and that Thanksgiving, I almost destroyed my family, chasing a feeling that was never real. If you've ever confused admiration with love, this story is for you. Stay till the end, because what happened at that dinner table changed how I see love forever. The boy on the train 0, 15-4. 30 at 19, most guys I knew were obsessed with three things: parties, sports, and dating. I carried a worn copy of Voltaire in my backpack. My weekends were spent in the library, not the stadium. My friends called me professor. I didn't mind. To me, real life happened in ideas, not in loud rooms. Thanksgiving break started on a Friday. The boarding school emptied out fast. Students dragged suitcases down the hallway like they were escaping prison. I was one of them, but I wasn't escaping. I was going home. On the train, I sat by the window with Marcus, my best friend since sophomore year. He was talking about a girl named Chloe. Blonde, cheerful, the kind of girl every guy noticed. "She's been staring at you all week," Marcus said, nudging me. "Just ask her out already." I laughed. "Marcus, I'm not interested." He groaned. "You're impossible. You're 19. You're supposed to be making mistakes, not reading 18th century philosophy." Halfway through the ride, it happened. Chloe walked down the aisle, stopped at my seat, and smiled. "Hey, Oscar. Want to get coffee over break? Just us." Marcus stopped breathing. I saw it in his face. I set my book down. "Chloe, you're kind and smart, but I don't think we want the same things. I hope you understand." She blinked, surprised, then nodded. "Yeah, okay." When she left, Marcus turned to me like I'd just announced I was moving to Mars. "Dude, she's the most popular girl in our grade. Every guy wants her. And you said no." I looked out at the passing fields. "Because I'm not looking for what they're looking for." "So what are you looking for?" I hesitated. Then I told him the truth. "I'm in love with someone." Marcus's jaw dropped. "Who? Someone from school?" "No," I said quietly. "Someone at home." Marcus didn't ask more. He knew me well enough to know I'd explain when I was ready. We got off at the station. My father was waiting. Tall, tired, but smiling wide when he saw me. "Professor," he said, using my nickname. "Welcome home." He drove me home in silence at first. Then he said, "Eve's been asking about you all week." Eve, my stepmother. She came into my life when I was 14. My mother had passed 2 years earlier. Dad was drowning in grief and work. Eve was his colleague at the university hospital, a heart surgeon. Sharp, calm, and terrifyingly competent, she didn't try to replace my mother. She just showed up, packed my lunch when Dad forgot, sat with me when I couldn't sleep, never forced me to talk. Over time, she became the person I trusted most in the world. And somewhere along the way, that trust started feeling like something else. The house full of GHOSTS 4, 39, 45 home hadn't changed. The same oak door, the same smell of old books and coffee. But I felt different walking through it. Dad was throwing a small dinner that night. "Just a few people," he said. "Your professors, Eve's friends, nothing formal." There were 20 people. I shook hands, made small talk, smiled in all the right places. Then Dad introduced me to Maya, the daughter of one of his colleagues. 19, studying art, funny, sharp. "You two should talk," Dad said, winking. Maya smiled. "So, Professor, what's your favorite book?" "Candide," I said. "Voltaire, it's about disillusionment." Her smile faded slightly. "Oh, heavy," I nodded. "Yeah." All night, my eyes kept drifting to the kitchen. Eve was there, pouring wine, laughing with her friends. She wore a simple navy dress, hair pulled back. No makeup. She didn't need it. She moved like she owned the room without trying. When she spoke, people listened. Not because she was loud, but because what she said mattered. I realized something that night. I didn't love Eve because she was beautiful. I loved her because she was real. After my mother died, I spent 2 years feeling like the world was made of glass. One wrong move and everything shattered. Eve was the first person who made me feel like the glass could be fixed. But I was 14 then. She was 38. Now I was 19. And the feeling hadn't gone away. If anything, it was worse. At one point, Eve caught me staring. She walked over, concerned. "You okay? You look distant." I forced a smile. "Just tired from the train." She nodded, but I saw the doubt in her eyes. She always knew when I was lying. Later, Dad asked me to drive Maya home. I didn't want to, but I couldn't say no to him. In the car, Maya was quiet for a minute. Then she said, "You know, you don't have to pretend with me." "Pretend what?" "That you're interested." "I can tell you're not, it's okay." I pulled over and turned to her. "Maya, you're amazing, but I'm not in a place where I can give anyone what they deserve. I'm sorry." She smiled, sad but understanding. "Thanks for being honest. Most guys wouldn't." I dropped her off and drove home alone. The house was quiet. Eve was asleep. Dad was upstairs. I went to my old room and stared at the ceiling. I was 19, and I felt like I was lying to everyone I loved. The night things got messy, 9, 45, 15, 20 the next day, I couldn't sit still. Eve was at work. Dad was at the university. The house felt too big and too empty. I needed to talk to someone who wouldn't judge me. Diane, Eve's best friend, 42, divorced, a massage therapist. She ran her own small clinic downtown. She was the kind of person who said exactly what she thought, no filter. I'd met her a few times. She liked me because I didn't flirt or act weird around her. She called me old soul. I found her number and texted, "Can we talk? It's important." She replied in 2 minutes, "Come to the clinic." 8 p.m., bring coffee. When I got there, the clinic was closed. Lights were dim. She was in the back room reading a book. "You look like hell," she said without looking up. "Thanks," I said. She closed the book and studied me. "Okay, what's going on?" I told her everything. About Chloe on the train, about Maya at dinner, about how I couldn't stop thinking about Eve, about how I felt like I was betraying my father, my mother's memory, myself. Diane didn't interrupt. When I finished, she leaned back and said, "You're not in love with Eve." I froze. "What?" "You're in love with the idea of her," she said. "She took care of you when you were broken. She's intelligent, calm, stable. She represents safety, and at 19, safety feels like love." I wanted to argue, but I couldn't. "Then what do?" I asked. "You stop running from it," she said. "You talk to her, not about love, about truth. Tell her you're confused. A mature person will appreciate honesty." I nodded. It made sense. Diane offered me tea. We talked for another hour. About philosophy, about grief, about what it means to grow up. She made me feel heard. For the first time in weeks, I felt calm. I left at 11 p.m. On the way out, I thanked her. "Don't thank me yet," she said. "The hard part starts now." The dinner that changed everything. 2020. 10 Thanksgiving dinner was at a hotel this year. Dad said he wanted to do something different. Eve, Dad, Diane, and I sat at a table by the window. The city lights were behind us. For the first hour, it was normal. Small talk, laughter. Then Diane switched to French. I knew French. Dad and Eve didn't. She leaned toward me and whispered, "You were right to come talk to me. You're braver than most men." I felt my face get hot. "Diane, please." She smiled. "Relax. I'm just being honest. You have a good heart, Oscar." Dad noticed. "What's so funny?" "Nothing," I said quickly. "Just catching up." Diane didn't stop. She kept making comments, testing me. I was terrified she'd say something that would ruin everything. When she got up to go to the restroom, I followed her. "Diane, stop," I whispered in the hallway. "If Dad hears you." She stopped and looked at me. For the first time, her playful mask slipped. "Oscar, I care about you, more than I should, but I'm not going to ruin your family," I promised Eve. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. "Thank you," she nodded. "Now go back to the table and talk to Eve, for real this time." When we returned, Dad was asking questions. "Diane, are you and Oscar hiding something?" Diane looked at me. I nodded slightly. "No," she said. "We're just two people who had a hard conversation, that's all." The table went quiet. Eve looked at me, really looked at me. And I saw it, the worry, the confusion, the love. After dinner, Dad went to the bar to talk to an old colleague. Eve and I stayed behind. "Oscar," she said, "talk to me." So I did. I told her about the train, about feeling lost, about how I'd confused gratitude with something more, about how scared I was of hurting Dad. She listened. She didn't interrupt. When I finished, she took my hand. "Oscar, what you feel is real, but it's not love. It's what happens when a boy loses his mother and finds a woman who makes him feel safe again. That's not wrong, but it's not love." I wanted to cry. "Love," she continued, "is when two people choose each other as equals, when they see each other's flaws and stay anyway. I'm not that person for you, and you're not that person for me, not like that." I nodded. My throat was tight. "Does that mean you hate me?" I asked. She laughed softly. No, it means I love you enough to tell you the truth, and I trust you to be strong enough to hear it. The morning after 10:24:30 the next morning, we played tennis. Dad had set it up years ago as our tradition. I was terrible. Eve beat me 6-1. During a break, she sat down next to me. Diane told me you talked, she said. I nodded. Good, she said. Now listen, I'm not mad at you, I'm proud of you. It takes courage to admit you're confused. I looked at her, really looked at her. You're right, I said. I wasn't in love with you, I was in love with the idea of you, the woman who fixed me when I was broken. She smiled. And that's okay, but now you have to fix yourself. We didn't hug, we didn't need to, something shifted between us. The tension was gone, what was left was respect. And that felt better. The train back 24:30:26:00 on the train back to school, I saw Chloe again. She was sitting alone, reading. This time, when she looked up and smiled, I smiled back. Not because I wanted to date her, but because I was okay with myself now. She quoted Voltaire to me, "Judge a man by his questions rather than his answers." I laughed. "You've been reading?" She shrugged.